Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Happy 2020. We're back. I want to say this is our second episode of the new year, but this is our first, we finally got our whole team back.
Yeah.
So this is really our first episode.
Exciting.
I think everyone's hopefully back to work by now. So everyone should be back in their normal routines. You should be back at the gym.
The Hollywood elites are back at work.
The elites even, I think, are back at work.
Yeah.
You should be back sitting in traffic and back listening to group chat.
Good.
Okay, so we have Anand back. Anand, I don't really know where to start with you, man. I think this is probably the richest you've ever seen.
Richest trip you've been on?
By far.
Yeah.
Richest trip you've ever been on. Dee and I did a quick recap of our Christmases and our New Year's. You were still out being rich.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything? Like, give us details. Where'd you go? Can you tell us that?
I went to the Yellowstone Club.
What is that?
It is a private ski resort in Montana.
Okay.
And the first rule about Yellowstone Club is you don't talk about it.
Oh, shut up.
Were there any black people there?
You can tell by my response.
Really?
Were you the darkest person?
So I saw another Indian family.
And people were disgusted. They were the help.
I mean, they weren't the help. They were
Okay.
They were there.
But they were disgusted to see you.
Probably.
Did you get any weird vibes?
No, everyone's nice. You're just vetted once you're in the door.
Okay, so
It's
let
like
me
once
ask you
you're
this.
past the velvet rope,
They're
everyone
probably
treats
like,
you well.
he came from St. Bart's. He's just tan.
Like,
I think they understand.
or they might have thought I've started, some company.
Some
For
tech
sure they
company,
did.
yeah.
So because this level of rich vacation stuff is like very foreign to me. How do you, what's it actually like? Like you obviously
Sure.
fly into the normal
So
airport.
so you just fly into Montana, Bozeman, Montana.
So you flew commercial.
Yeah.
You were the only one there.
Yeah.
Probably. I was definitely the poorest person there by like a lot.
What about the ski instructors?
Probably right.
They make more money
You
than
might
me.
get a tip, $1 million tip.
I mean, think about the investment advice they get. Okay, keep going.
So it's a 15,000 acre private ski resort.
Okay.
It is surrounded like Fort Knox. You cannot get anywhere near there unless you're a member or a guest of a member.
So you go in through a big gate, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're very rigorous
Yeah.
on making sure
Yeah.
your name and IDs
It's easier to get into Iran.
Just to give you an example, my 16-month-old kid Maverick had a badge number that if anyone asked him at any time, someone
would he
had
say?
They did a background check. What have you been doing these 16 months?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about
Where
you.
you been? You like West Hollywood?
So then you go in, and then there's all just houses?
and then it's just Fantasyland.
Got it. And then, so did
So
you...
you're not going to tell us who was there.
I can't.
You can't
I
tell us
want to get
one
invited
name?
back.
Give us one name, maybe a friend.
Was there
that we
anyone
know.
that we would know?
So if you Google Yellowstone Club
Okay.
and you see the members, they were all there.
Is that available? That's available.
Can you tell us who some of the members are on the website?
So if you do a quick Google search,
Yeah.
you might be able to find out.
You're just making sure you get your invite back.
Yeah, I don't want to get not invited back. And, I'll tell you two things, right? One, drama has it partially figured out and partially not figured out.
Okay, I like that.
Okay?
Yeah.
Partially not figured out, everyone's wasted.
Yeah.
The
I
most
decided I'm
famous
gonna
and
drink
richest
more.
people are just drinking from morning till night. They look like they're having a blast,
Yeah.
and it's great.
Okay, I have that figured out.
Okay, the
You know what I
part
think about rich people, though? You know what I think about rich people? I think, or those type of people, really successful, I think that they allot time to go be degenerates, and then I don't know if these people are wasted, on a regular weekend.
I don't know. You should read Daily Mail. Some of them are.
Okay, I'll start drinking more. What do I have figured
what
out?
do you have figured out? No one's on their phone.
Thank you.
You know why? Because they're wasted. When I'm wasted, I'm not on my phone because I'm blacked out. I
I'll
don't
tell
remember
you.
a thing.
So there was one day where we left the house to go to the mountain, and I left my phone, and I didn't realize because you're just packing ski jackets, all this stuff, and it's really hard to keep track of everything.
Plus, you're just in pure bliss.
Yeah,
You know,
and I show
rich
up to the
stuff.
mountain, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm on my phone. So now it's like a 6-7 hour period where there's no way I'm gonna have access to my phone, and I actually didn't care because I was like, what is better on Instagram
Yeah.
Well, you know the difference is those really rich people, when they probably get a like, their handler comes and says, "You just got a like from."
Yeah.
Yes, maybe.
They probably have a
By the
sign.
way, this just happened.
They have a
By
like
the way,
sign.
there's like a handler telling you in
Yeah,
your ear.
no one's trying to be an influencer at Yellowstone Club. No. That's what I realized.
Well, they're real influencers.
Okay, let me ask you this: what was the actual I like to snowboard.
Yeah.
I don't get a chance to go to many, fabulous places, but I've been to Big Bear a few times.
Sure.
Super crowded, lines for the lifts, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Any of that going on? What's it
No.
look like when you're actually on the mountain?
So if you think about it, when I said 15,000 acres,
Yeah.
which is, I don't even know how to like conceptualize that. Let me just tell you, it's really big.
Yeah, it sounds.
There's
big.
probably 300 skiers /
Yeah.
snowboarders.
Okay.
So there's no lines. You literally have the mountain to yourself. And we went in the busiest time of the year, which is the week we went.
Yeah.
Because all the families that are members bring their friends and families and poor people like me to like experience this like rich uncle.
By the way, there's one really good story that I think he can share.
Okay.
A relative of ours.
So you're gonna share it for him just in case.
Yes, I'm definitely sharing this one because this does not involve a celebrity.
Okay.
A relative of ours and a listener of the pod.
Yeah, he'll probably listen this morning.
Okay. He's a thief. So he goes to the top of the mountain.
Oh.
And he grabs a snowboard.
Yep.
Two young girls goes to their father and goes, "That man stole the snowboard."
And so he's starting to snowboard. The father of the daughters whose snowboard it was, I mean, you're just up there. You're just grabbing boards. It doesn't even matter.
Or he's a thief.
And he just books it and chases him down. He goes, "You don't do that at Yellowstone. You don't steal."
I love it. Like
I
that's
think
how
that's
you.
so good.
That's
You
all
don't do
Dee
that.
loves.
Yeah.
I told you guys so many stories off air, and that's a story that resonates.
Because you know why?
Yeah.
Because it's just like,
It's a different way of policing.
because it's just, you don't steal at Yellowstone. You can steal anywhere else
Yeah.
because those people are all thieves except at Yellowstone. You do not steal.
Gosh. Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about like luxury, rich stuff, bubbles, all sorts of stuff on this pod. What did you gain from that experience? What did you learn?
My takeaway is that they are so happy.
Yeah. So
And
money
they're
does
so
buy
carefree.
happiness.
Like you're on lifts, and we just like anyone joins whatever group. So it's like Amanda and I were like on a ski lift, and someone just joins, and then you have a casual conversation, and then you Google them, and then you're like, holy shit,
Yeah.
that guy was like some big shot, but no one's fronting because once you're past the velvet rope, you're good.
Is there any like vibe between the rich people? Like, did you feel any sort of like, oh, that's the really rich table?
No,
at
no.
lunch?
Once you're there,
Once you're in
everyone's
your-
really rich.
everyone's like, hey, let's all hang out and have a good time.
Got it. Do you
But I'll
think
crush you when I see you
So
in New
someone
York.
asked me
Yeah.
a good question, like, did you feel a vibe, like anyone worried about a recession? I was like, no one's worried.
Those people are
No,
not worried
they're
about
not.
the recession.
They're not worried about anything. Do you think that like there's weird stuff going on? Like, do people there like are they meeting up and talking about like who they're gonna fund for presidential candidate?
I'm sure. I think all that's going on. I think it's just like,
What was the best alcohol you saw?
so it's a Melbourne property.
Okay.
So you gotta imagine a lot of Casamigos.
A lot of Casamigos.
Wow. He owns that?
No, he's the operator.
Sheesh. Okay. Okay. So you're gonna have a new attitude now, I imagine.
In terms of?
I just figure around the office you're gonna be a little snobbier.
Yeah.
Now that you have all these
You
new
don't
friends.
steal at Yellowstone.
You don't steal at the 5-4 offices.
You can steal anywhere else.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, yeah, it's fantasy land for rich people.
So you'll be back.
If I get invited, hopefully I didn't ruin it. on
Yeah,
this
you might have
pod.
been blackballed.
No, I think you did pretty good. That sounds like a good ad.
You dimed out the thief.
I dimed out the thief, and I can tell you one thing that I was told by not the person who brought us there.
Okay.
Kanye was denied membership,
Wow.
and that's why he went to Jackson Hole.
Wow. No, not welcome here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kane. Sheesh.
They
Okay.
don't want Instagram.
All right, well, you win, man. Richest
Richest
vacay of the
years,
year.
yeah.
You know, you
That's
got
it, you did it.
2019, and I guess you probably started 2020. I don't know if we're gonna be able to beat that.
No,
It
that's
was
a good
good.
one.
So when we talk bubble talk, when we talk luxury,
That's really
we'll
bubble.
defer to you now.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Was there another random topic that we wanted to talk about before we get into serious? I forget. Or was it just Anand being rich?
No, that was it.
Okay, so let's get into some serious stuff now.
Yes.
Let me ask you if you heard anything about this over with your rich friends. We're on the verge of World War III.
Yes.
So everyone's going nuts. And the best thing about it all is I never, in all of my times paying very close attention to social media and trend, what goes on in that world, never once did I see social media address a potential war. And let me tell you, it was hilarious.
So I launched on my personal Twitter feed the #1 World War III meme account. I'm on fire on Twitter.
What do you mean you launched it?
I started posting on Friday World War III memes
On your page?
on my page on Twitter, and I'm on fire.
Where were you finding them?
They're everywhere.
Oh, so you were just reposting?
We stole content and we posted it as
And now you're
as
going
own.
viral.
And I said I want to be the #1 World War III meme account.
Got it.
And
2020 is all about setting goals.
Yeah, and that was the goal that I set, because World War III is funny.
World War III is funny. And then this was so
the
crazy.
content is so good.
It's so good. And then did you see that there was a guy, a soldier,
Oh yeah.
overseas saying, yo, you guys are having fun. This isn't funny. And that went viral.
Yeah.
So like the whole topic of World War III is just hot online.
So those that don't know,
Okay, so I woke up in the morning. I looked at Instagram. I saw all the memes. And even though this is going to make me sound like a complete idiot, I thought it was like a new Call of Duty or something.
yeah.
Like,
And
I
this
thought,
is Saturday.
Yeah, like I
Right?
thought, like, oh, this is a trending, like, oh, a new Fortnite. Like, remember when Fortnite like went offline
Yeah.
and everything was a whatever?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's like some new.
Not real shit happened.
Yeah, it was a real war.
So Thursday night, I believe.
And it's Friday, early morning, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. The United States attacked an Iranian airport.
No, Iraqi airport.
Iraqi airport, sorry. And it was Qasem Soleimani, who is I would say he's the right hand he's like the national security kind of intelligence leader.
Yeah, he's basically the right hand to the Ayatollah,
In
and
Iran.
he's ahead of the president of Iran. He's more important than the president of Iran.
He's a very powerful, and I think he's behind a lot of the intelligence community in Iran. So they attacked the airport. They killed him. And no one was clear on why this had happened. White House comes out and says that there was all this evidence that there was imminent danger to American lives. Immediately, that starts sending off like all these conspiracy theories that Donald Trump wanted to get in a war with Iran because it's wars are good for presidents.
Re-elections.
Yes.
Yep.
Because if you watch even the tone from Friday, where everyone was like really upset that America had done this, to all of a sudden tonight, with the soldier post, everyone's like, we have to stand with our soldiers. So it brings people together.
Yep.
So no matter what, at the end of the day, if our country has to go to war, it normally unites people.
Yep.
And so that's the conspiracy that starts getting out, that this is just for the election. So people start digging in more and more information about it, and White House hasn't really shared enough evidence to prove what the imminent danger was. But since then, in the last 72 hours, shit's crazy. Crazy. So Iran says they will seek revenge.
Yeah.
Everything from cyber attacks to attack the White House to
They said attack the White House?
attack the White House to that the prime minister of Iran said if every citizen donates $1, we will put $80 million on Donald Trump's head for a call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then Donald Trump on Twitter says if they attack, we have 52 locations in Iran that we will target. U.S. Embassy in Iraq, apparently there was rockets pretty close to it. They also want to kick out all Americans out of Iran. And then Donald Trump retaliated with, there will be sanctions. They owe us billions of dollars. We want all of it. It is in the last 48 hours, batshit crazy what's
crazy.
happened. What's crazy is on Friday, stock market went down a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, on Thursday, we were talking how much the stock market went up again. And I was like, man, the only thing I was thinking to myself, like, it just has to be some crazy shit has to happen at this point to derail the stock market. Yeah. So Sunday, which is today when we're recording, like, I think the Kuwaiti index and the Saudi index are down 3-4% for the day because it has a huge stock on oil prices. Because whenever there's conflict in the Middle East, there's usually a shortage in oil supply. So that has major impact on American consumers. So, like, imagine you go to the tank tomorrow and gas in LA is like around $3.80, at least where we live. Imagine it's $6. That causes mad panic amongst the American consumer, because if you have to drive 1 hour and you just now are spending $1 or $2 more a day in in gas, it's an insane amount of money. It just all of a sudden out of nowhere went batshit crazy.
Yep.
And it's kind of scary.
It is kind of scary. I think everyone always like joked about like we don't trust Trump to be able to start wars and stuff like that, but nothing ever happened. Like,
he was just talking.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, but that's never going to happen. There's too many safeguards in place and blah, blah, blah. There isn't, and this feels sketchy. And there was a story that I read about them being like, we presented him with multiple options of what he could have done, and he picked assassinate the dude, and they were like, we didn't think he would choose that one. And so then we had to go figure out how to do it.
Right, so just to kind of put it in context, Iran has had a series of provocations. Like, they attacked the embassy in Iraq, the U.S. embassy, Saudi oil fields, which is like very relevant to the U.S., shot down a drone, and all these different things. And then the U.S. responded with this. And I think there's three things I think about this. First, I didn't know my entire Twitter feed is an expert in Iran-Iraqi relations.
Everybody is.
Everyone's an expert.
Yeah. Yeah, now they are, yeah.
I'm the number one.
Everyone, like, as soon as this happened, everyone had the strongest opinion one way or the other.
That's why I was posting memes. Because I knew that if I took the meme route.
And, like, and for me, that just signaled to me, like, how bad Twitter's gotten.
Yeah.
Because Twitter's been, and I've told you guys multiple times, it's been my favorite platform for years. And I feel like it's just gotten so rotten.
Yeah.
It's Twitter's just so fucking rotten.
Yeah.
Like, something important happens in the world, and what used to happen is people share relevant articles and stuff, and you get to learn, and then people discuss, and you form your opinion. Now it's either like Trump's a moron or Trump's a genius.
Yeah.
It's one of the two.
Yeah.
And that's where you stand. And
this is wild.
And the second thing, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm an Iraqi-Iran like expert on foreign relations, but what I read in the last 48 hours was basically, there's no question the guy who was assassinated was a bad man.
He's a bad guy.
He's a terrorist. Bad dude. He was a bad dude. He was a terrorist responsible for killing tons of Americans.
And he killed a lot of Iranian people recently in the protesters.
And the second thing I gleaned, and I'm not going to go further than this because I'm not an expert, I'm not going to pretend. Like, when I talk about Uber and Postmates, and I actually have a deep understanding of those businesses, which is why I make strong opinions about them.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we get it. I mean, you have a Twitter account and a podcast. You're an expert.
Yeah.
And the other thing was pretty clear to me. No one trusts that the Trump administration knows what to do the second, third, and fourth
steps.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
We know what they want to do.
Which is obliterate Iran?
Yeah, I mean, go to war. Go to war is good for business.
Yeah.
Forget that.
No, I don't think going to war is good for business.
It's good for his homies.
I think an impeachment. I think it's potentially true that the only thing that could get Trump reelected is an impeachment and a war, and he could be perfectly playing this. This could be like Hillary's emails and whatever that led to this perfect storm of how he got elected in the first place. I think we could look back in 2022 and be like, damn.
I'll give you an example. I saw Colin Kaepernick tweet.
Yeah, that was such fucking...
So this is where...
This is Twitter.
What'd he say?
He's like, America loves to bomb black and brown people. Oh. So right there again, you're insulting black and brown people that are in the military that are just got deployed to go fight.
This is why Colin Kaepernick is just unfit to be a spokesman for anything.
Yeah. So my point is that tweet alone proved to me that if I'm the strategist on the Trump side, this is a great fucking move because dude, in 3 weeks, if we're actually combat battle with America, we're Americans at the end of the day. We have pride. We're going to support our people. We're not going to, we do the memes and we joke around, but fuck, if kids are dying, then you're like, okay, all of a sudden everyone comes together, is my point.
So I think there's a few things that have been pretty clear to me that the Iranian regime, if they were to escalate it to the way that people potentially think on social media they do, they'll get eliminated.
Yeah, obviously.
Right? Because the U.S.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just over.
They don't have
and their whole pretense is that they exist to not get eliminated.
Yeah.
So I doubt we're gonna get that far, but who knows? Because fuck, it's 2020 and
this is wild.
I'll tell you, the only thing that freaked me out is I want to talk to Iranians in America and LA and hear what they have to say. I obviously have a lot of Iranian friends. Love to hear what their perspective is on it. But I also want to love to talk to someone in Iran. I doubt we have any Iranian listeners, but
we might.
So there was a video of the mourning and the procession for this person.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like a million fucking people.
Yeah.
No,
So-
it was in Iraq.
But you want to know if
That was
it's
not
real?
in Iran?
That was in Iraq where they were like parading his body around.
Okay, so because he hasn't gone back to Iran
No.
yet. So the fact that happened was like, oh man.
And then in the Iranian parliament, which is on social media, I watched it right before we got there.
Yeah.
They started chanting "Death to America."
yeah.
Yeah.
50 Cent posted that. That's how I found out.
Oh man. Just a couple of meme guys sharing memes.
I was like, is this real? And then
But
50
here,
posted
the real scary part about social media is no one actually understands what's going on, but everyone has the strongest opinions.
Yeah.
And everyone's sadly, everyone's having a great laugh over it.
I just wanted to tell you my favorite
I mean, there was
part.
nothing
50
funnier
are-
this weekend.
You and 50 Cent are. Everyone else is pretending.
No way.
No.
Everyone's having the
World
time of
War
their lives.
III memes was trending worldwide on Twitter.
It was
World
so
War III
good.
memes.
How did Future become the meme for
What?
everything? Him looking at his phone? How did that happen?
It's just a classic image. I don't know. It just worked. I just want to read my favorite part of the whole thing. Donald Trump tweeted, "The United States just spent $2 trillion on military equipment. We are the biggest and by far the best in the world. If Iran attacks an American base or any American, we will be sending some of that brand new, beautiful equipment their way, and without hesitation." If there's not one thing that can rally Middle America, it's Donald Trump tweeting like he's Meek Mill about a beef.
But here's the thing. is
He's
that
not wrong.
He's not wrong. Honestly,
know.
if Iran attacked anything American, the entire country is going to say, fuck it, beat the shit out of him.
Yes.
And the problem is, that is so good for him. That's what I'm saying. It's so good for business.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It made me feel kind of safe.
Yeah.
I read it and I'm like, fuck them. We'll send some of that shiny new equipment your way, bitch.
I saw a tweet on Twitter. America versus Iran or Iraq is a New England Patriots versus a high school varsity team.
Yeah.
That's how the people are, and it's true.
With a cocky ass coach that'll tweet the whole way along.
Yeah, exactly.
Just bombed your bitch ass.
Yeah. So there was like a cyber attack. I don't know if it was by Iran, but it showed pro-Iran on an American government site with Donald Trump, like making fun of Donald Trump, whatever. I mean, we're gonna have to see in the coming days what actually happens.
Yeah.
But I mean, my thing with all this is that if innocent like American lives are gonna die because of some ego political move, that's the worst thing I've ever.
Yeah, of course.
But that's going to happen.
Yeah,
Because
it sucks.
there's no way. So I think a few things are guaranteed. Iran's going to respond, but they're not going to respond in the way that makes the U.S. respond to eliminate the country.
Yeah.
So they're going to do these like, subtle operations, and people are going to die.
Yeah.
There's like no question about it.
Yeah.
But is that just a consequence of war, or
And
has it been-
if people were dying before this.
anyways, like
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. That's where I get way beyond my. I'm more of a meme guy myself than a strategist.
50 Cent.
Yeah. I'm
But
more
if
on the
you
50
if
Cent
you
side.
want to go through my feed, I have some
Gems.
I've really put
Colin
together.
Kaepernick was really the low of this entire.
He just lost my respect when he said that.
Yeah, I really feel like impeachment back to back with a little mini war, we could be like soaring right into the end of 2020
And
with
if
a
any-
re-election, and like we'll be
Because-
on the outside. Like I think it could lead to like there's this patriotism, Trump love that's on a bigger scale than we ever imagined, and we're like, shit. Like, do we just join in, or what do we do now?
Did you guys see that video where he admitted to calling out Barack Obama for doing this? And then he does the same exact thing.
It's wild.
Yeah, that was an old one. That was
I
Yeah,
know. That's the funny
2011
part.
or whatever. Yeah, that's wild though. Talk about like.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh,
Self-fulfilling.
Obama's up for election. He's probably going to bomb Iran."
Yeah.
And now we're here.
And he called it a weak move, and then he did it.
Well, hey, he knew his strategy years ago.
It's a good move.
And the real issue, I think, regardless of, because none of us are privy to the intelligence reports.
Neither's Trump.
But no one's publicly talking about it. So he goes. So typically,
Well, also happened.
typically when something of this scale happens, the president of the United States goes and does a speech about why he did what he did.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what
No, you
the
get
reason.
to be-
And there's a press
To be
briefing.
fair, it is the holidays. People are on vacation. People are at Yellowstone. People at Mar-a-Lago.
People are not at Yellowstone. A handful.
No, I'm sure some of those people dropping bombs are hanging out at Yellowstone. Okay, those droners
The maker
are
of
there.
those bombs. I bet
There's
No,
like a
the
drone
droners.
club
Yeah.
at Yellowstone. Probably.
The owner of the drone company was
Yes,
probably at
yeah,
lunch next to Anand,
yeah.
sharing a ski lift.
Yeah,
He
so-
probably has a magnet on me. I might be.
He probably
this-
bought
this
a new
building-
property. Like, oh, we're going to war? Sick.
yeah, it's good for business.
Can afford a few more acres. Okay, I guess we got to keep moving.
But this is obviously the biggest story of the week. It's going to be the biggest story of the year.
Yeah, and guess who's here to take you through it?
Yeah.
I just
Group
hope
chat.
more data, so we have more.
I think it'll come
understanding.
out this week because
No,
I
because the data is so sparse. It said
gonna get
imminent threats, and then Pompeo was on some morning shows today saying days or weeks. It's not relevant if you're in the U.S. military. Well, we have to know.
why we went to a full-scale war on the axis of evil. That was made up.
Agreed. So we should learn our lesson and actually have
But
information.
we don't have
We
control. We're not in power.
We're gonna get some fire tweets and some sick memes, and
Yeah.
we're like, "Fuck it, we're at war." I guess.
And we just get American flag tweeted and we all feel.
I'm putting a
happy.
flag on my house.
Yeah, it'd be like a Game of Thrones.
I'm American.
meme.
What are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You like that? You like that? You like I flipped it on you guys?
That's what I'm saying is gonna happen.
I'm telling
saying
you.
2022, you're gonna be like, "Fuck it."
Yeah,
I'm
if you don't have a
American.
flag, you're a traitor.
Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Okay, quickly, we got to talk about this. Carlos, is it Ghosn?
Ghosn, yeah.
So Carlos Ghosn, the Nissan CEO, pulled off like a movie scene.
I thought this, seriously, on January 1st or 2nd or whenever it happened,
Yeah.
was the story of the year, Jeffrey Epstein 2020,
Yeah.
before the World War III memes. This was the craziest story I've ever heard or seen.
And so it kind of got covered up by all the war talk.
Yeah.
So what happened? This guy snuck out of Japan?
Yeah,
in
so
a
he's
box?
a Lebanese person living in Japan, was the Nissan CEO, is pretty much getting convicted of enormous amount of fraud, and him and his team felt that he would not get a fair trial in Japan, that he was going to get convicted and be done. So months were going into the preparation, but they snuck him out of Japan. He ended up in Lebanon, and people are like, how the fuck did this happen?
Yeah.
He's like literally the most wanted person in Japan.
Yeah.
There's an article in New York Times, I believe, that shows, musicians have those trunks where they put their instruments or speakers or whatever it is. This motherfucker snuck in to one of those, got on a private plane somehow through, I don't know, maybe they faked a band. I don't know the exact details.
Yeah.
Got him to Lebanon, and he's out. He's out of Japan. And Lebanese are like, yeah, we're gonna try him in Lebanon now.
No, Lebanon has a anti-extradition, or they don't have an extradition treaty with
Yeah.
Japan. So basically, there's nothing Japan can do to get him out of Lebanon.
But I just
And
want to
but they
clarify.
said they would try him in Japan. It's a joke.
Yeah,
That's
it's
my
an
point.
absolute
Is that Lebanese are like, yeah, don't worry, we're gonna take care of him in Japan.
But this is the CEO of Nissan.
Yes.
This isn't like some like.
yeah, and his wife lives in France, so people think he'll end up in France, but then that's not good for him, his chances. So maybe his wife will come to Lebanon. It is. You got to read this article.
And
It is-
Lebanon is just like fucks with their own people enough.
No,
that they're
it's
like-
just
a
it's just
powerful
like
guy.
a Jell-O situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but no
like-
one really. I mean, even with Jolo, it made sense because he was sort of harbored by China, probably because that's some leverage against someone.
Sure.
Sounds like the Lebanese people are just like, yeah, like he's a good.
I think Lebanon's probably like, Japan, what have you done for me lately? Why would I give him up?
Yeah, and I'm sure
gosh.
he's the CEO of Nissan. He has very powerful friends, I'm sure, in Lebanon.
Yeah.
course.
That are like, I looked out for you when your kid wanted that Ultima.
Yeah.
Guess what? You're taking care of me now. All your kids are driving Ultimas.
Who knew an Ultima could go so
yeah,
far?
a Sentra for
But
everybody.
isn't there a sports car Nissan? I feel like Grand Theft Auto, there was a big Nissan. What was that?
NSX.
GTR,
What's
what was
the
it called?
NSX?
NSX.
Is the NSX a Nissan?
Yeah, that was in.
That's the hot one.
Yeah.
That's Acura. That's Acura. NSX.
No, it is.
Yeah.
There was a hot Nissan.
GTR.
Yeah, whatever.
Right?
All the
Yeah,
kids got
Nissan
GTRs.
Yeah.
Maybe everyone got a GTR, and then the Lebanese parents was like, you know what? My kid's happy.
So do you think this story will survive
Yes.
the war?
Yes. I think it's Jeffrey Epstein, like, in terms of the escape.
Yeah. I can't wait to read that book.
That book is going to be nuts.
$1 billion box.
Yeah. I mean,
The man
your
who
boy
escaped.
Ben
It just shows
Mesrich.
everyone's on the take, right? The security's on the take at the private jet terminal. The pilot's on the take.
Yeah.
Everyone was on the take.
You wanna
for this
know
to
why
get-
And the
we're
lawyers
so-
playing Japan are playing dumb. Like, we had no idea.
Yeah.
What do you mean you had no idea?
You wanna know why we're so lucky? Is because this type of shit has been going on forever.
And we're
but
now-
now we get to hear about
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
We never got to hear about
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
shit. And
There's
now,
people escaping out of guitar boxes for years.
for years. That's basic move.
Yeah.
Billionaire escaping a country, guitar box. We all
Yeah.
know this. Okay.
It's Billionaire 101, right?
Well,
Yeah.
we will we'll keep you updated.
If I
And,
see that fucker skiing in Yellowstone, though,
he's probably on his way. He's probably on his way.
There's no one on the mountain. You
Yeah.
didn't find him.
Yeah. Okay. Let's jump complete topics into just some good old-fashioned fun pop culture, what everyone's talking about. Let's
Yeah.
leave all this war and billionaires escaping talk behind.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Coachella.
woo.
The lineup's out.
Yeah.
Listeners, you may or may not know, the three of us just happen to be massive Coachella fans.
Yeah.
We're not, we're not big festival guys, but Coachella just really has a soft spot in our hearts.
Yes.
And every year we wait for this January set list release. And we got it. And it looks hot.
It's hot.
And it looks also big news. Like all those little greedy little bastards at Camp Flognog can finally shut up and go see Frank Ocean and Coachella.
Yeah. See if you can afford those tickets.
Yeah. Frank Ocean's closing.
You're gonna be driving from freaking the valley to Frank
They'll
Ocean.
do it. They'll do it. You wonder what I feel like for us is,
I won't be there Sunday night to see Frank Ocean.
but
No
Sunday
chance.
night, I feel like for us, I'll watch Frank Ocean. I feel like it's always sucked. It's always been like Ariana Grande or Lady Gaga or
Yeah.
whatever. Frank Ocean, I feel like will be good. I know you won't stay, but I think it'll be good.
So
I
it
mean,
looks
I
like
would
we have
love to stay,
a Tuesday
but-
pod that weekend.
What'd you say?
Looks like we're going to have a Tuesday pod.
I could do a Monday afternoon pod.
Yeah, we can do Monday afternoon. Or we can
So
record
we-
from the house.
So the headliners are Rage Against the Machine, Travis Scott, and Frank Ocean. The other big artists are Calvin Harris, Run the Jewels. I don't know who, Flume or Flume.
Flume.
What the fuck is that?
Flume is one of those those artsy
crickets.
vibe.
Lana Del Rey.
Yep.
Kind of crickets.
I can't believe how big font Little Uzi Vert has.
Well, he's big.
He's big.
He's big with the kids.
That's crazy.
Huge.
big with the
He's like
kids.
he's like the modern day Lil Wayne for these kids.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Everyone.
of good rap artists, a lot of good DJs. I mean, Black Coffee, that's going to be amazing on Saturday night. I mean, I think the lineup's great. Obviously, people complain no matter what. I think Coachella, if I was Coachella, I would say we're announcing a lineup today. And I'd be like, fuck you, you're coming anyways, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And
And Frank Ocean.
and then release the lineup. Imagine if the lineup got released Friday morning for Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday morning for Saturday, Sunday morning for Sunday.
Yeah.
And Coachella's selling out no matter what. It's not about the music. Anyone who thinks it's about the music shouldn't go.
Yeah, but for a lot of those, like a lot of the kids in the,
But they're going anyways.
they are, but like it's like the diehard. Like I do think that people are tipped over the edge of am I going or not by like a couple of those smaller artists. I do think that happens. I think there are music lovers in that audience, just
I
sweating
know.
their
So
tits
but
off.
my point is, from a business standpoint, they're gonna sell out no matter what.
It'd be cool if they did it that way,
But
and I
you
think
know
they
how
could get
fun
away
that
with
would
it.
be?
Yeah.
I would be more excited if I got to Coachella Friday morning and they're like, who's performing? And all of a sudden the lineup gets released.
Yeah.
And it's like exciting that
I
you're-
agree.
I think it would create more excitement because I don't want to hear about like music journalists giving their opinion. Music journalists should never give their opinion.
But
No
I
one
also
cares what
think
music
you're coming
journalists-
from
Music
an
journalists shouldn't exist.
opinion of
Yeah.
someone who's been for 10 years or however long you've been going, right?
Yeah.
Then the average person hasn't gone for 10 years. So we don't care who's playing. We're going no matter what.
I know, but I'm just saying from a business standpoint, Coachella is selling out 100%.
He just doesn't want to hear people's opinions about it leading up to.
That's fine.
Yeah, like, shut
I
up.
just can't
Yeah, shut
believe.
up is
I
it.
mean, of
Shut up and listen.
Of all the artists,
Shut up and just shut
I think
up.
I've been going a little less than you guys, probably a few years less than you guys. But Calvin Harris has been there every single year.
Well, he's the big
Yeah.
star.
He's right on the edge of like EDM and
Pop
pop star, and so he just perfectly.
Think about the guest stars Calvin Harris is going to have.
Right. And then the other thing that stuck out is how low on the totem pole Eric Murillo is. He
No
used to
one
be
cares.
a star.
No one
He's
cares.
old, bro.
No one
I
cares.
would love
remember,
to see Eric Murillo.
remember those like couple years when it was all like Swedish
Sahara
House
Times.
Mafia is the top headline, and then
Right.
what Tiesto, and thank God those days are over.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Anyway, it looks sick. I mean, there's a million of those artists I will never see.
Yeah.
Looks cool to me though. I always judge it by the people in the office. I feel like especially the marketing and design department is real hip to
What
who
do
all
they
these
say?
they love it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Travis Scott to me is the reason why everyone like you want to see Travis Scott at Coachella.
here's my question: is there a chance? I thought this when I saw Travis Scott, big name, Coachella, whatever, like obviously a closer on Saturday. Is there a potential for Travis Scott this year to overexpose himself? It feels like there's not enough music out to sustain how exposed he is.
It's fair.
I don't know, but I mean, I don't think so.
Well, I feel like he's the only one of that
Coachella.
tier that's actually putting out music.
But he's not really, like that Jack Boys album was garbage.
Yeah.
And if you think about the songs that we're all singing of Travis Scott's, they're old now. I mean, we looked at, I didn't realize Astro World was 2018.
Yeah. It's 2 years old.
That's crazy.
What's it called? What's the song with Drake?
Sicko mode.
Sicko Mode is 2 years old, a year and a half
Which is
old.
crazy.
Okay, other thing while we're on the topic of music, Justin Bieber, flopper.
It's a monster hit.
It's a flop. That thing is garbage.
I'll tell you this. The song, when I first heard it, I was like, yummy. And then I'm literally driving to a run club in the morning. I have my windows down with with Dominic. And obviously it comes on the radio like 16 times in like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm just hearing some young girls playing Yummy. I'm like, I can't escape this song. Every single place I went this weekend, whether it was a restaurant, whether it was a store, whether it was just walking down the street, I
Yeah.
kept hearing it. I feel like when you know how like back in the day when a pop star came out with a song, you'd be like, I remember when 24 Carats came out for Bruno Mars. I was like, I hate this song.
Well, yeah, but.
And
okay.
then I heard it over and over and over.
So you're
and then
a
I
fan.
go to Vegas, I see the show, and I'm like 24 Carats.
Wait, so I've been disconnected from the world the last week.
Yeah, okay, listen,
so
rich
tell
guy.
me about
So there's
the
a
song.
guy named Justin Bieber, right?
Heard of him.
Young Canadian man.
I saw some rumblings on social media that
Yeah.
there's a big
So
release.
there was a lot of rumblings. He's doing a little mini documentary on YouTube, which actually will probably be really cool. A couple new singles, I think, and then obviously a new album. It seems like all maybe this month or bleeding into next. The first single was called Yummy. It came out on Friday. We had a debate about it, whether or not, like, in my opinion, I think
We hadn't heard it yet.
Yeah, we hadn't heard it, but I think this is the test of can Bieber come back or not. And then the song came out on Friday. That's the story. I think the song sucks. I think it won't get enough traction to become 24 Karat Magic. I think it'll last the weekend. It's already, I just looked at the iTunes top downloads, and Roddy Ricch is already
Yeah, he's
back
number
above
2.
him.
Yeah.
The Baby was already above
Yeah.
him. Like, it
Roddy
doesn't-
Ricch is on fire, huh?
Roddy Ricch is on fire.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why on iTunes, with all of that promotion, all that marketing, and Justin Bieber being Justin Bieber, that he shouldn't have the number 1 song on iTunes.
that's
I think
fair.
that's a really bad sign. I think by Friday he's going to be number 10, and that's terrible.
Yeah. I just
think
feel
he
like
can make a
radio-
comeback. I just don't. I feel like that's not it.
I feel
But
like
what's
radio,
the song about? I saw
Just
people
yummy.
like
Just
things
throwing
that are
food on
yummy.
their face and they're eating dinner.
Just stuff that's yummy.
Just
I don't
yummy.
know. Candy.
It's just gonna be played on radio. It's great.
It's trash.
That's trash.
I think. I just think it's gonna be on Kiss FM and every.
It will.
And it's gonna.
It's not going to stick though. Sing me the hook. That's my point.
Yummy yum, yummy yum. There you go.
That's it.
That's it.
That's my point. I think if you could sing, if you could even like, it's a poorly written. Like, if you could sing,
I just think kids, you're just
Okay.
20 years above the demo.
we'll see. I think the demo is 20 years above the demo. Bieber's fans are old now.
It sure
That's
hasn't
true.
caught on TikTok.
What?
Nobody's making TikToks with it.
That's a bad sign.
That's a bad sign.
Well, it's been 3 days.
Doesn't matter.
Let's see.
Roxanne. I know that hook.
Yeah. Well, that song's been played to death.
Okay. All right, let's talk about TikTok.
Okay.
You know what? Let's talk about money. If we have any ads, place those in here. And we're back. Let's talk about TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
You guys heard of the Hype House?
I actually have.
Okay, Anand?
I
Of
have
course you
not.
haven't. Come on.
Yeah.
They don't talk about that stuff. What do you mean? Okay, so we all know that
we don't
TikTok.
do social media at Yellowstone.
No. So we all know that TikTok is the hottest platform in the world. It's where all trends are being broke. It's where the next generation of superstars are emerging. They have finally made a house, an influencer house that has gotten famous. So let me just tell you quickly. One thing that I've noticed is when Vine, which TikTok is very similar to, was blowing up, all of the this just happened. All of the big influencers on Vine all lived in one apartment complex in Hollywood. It just so happened to be on Vine Street. It was 1600 Vine, right?
That's where Taylor lived.
Yeah, I live there as well.
Taylor lived there as well. Taylor's going to do a full breakdown in our newsletter.
Tomorrow, doing the parallels between Vine and TikTok and what's going on right now.
Perfect. So that's what happened with Vine. Then all of a sudden, when this TikTok stuff, also in the new age of like influencer world, all these kids want houses in the hills. That's like the thing. So there's like the FaZe Clan house, the this house, the whatever house. Everyone has houses. So someone finally made the first big TikTok influencer house. It's called the Hype House. It's filled with the top of the top on TikTok. And it's huge. I think it already has 300,000 or 400,000. The house has 300,000 or 400,000 followers on Instagram.
Is a brainchild of Chase Hudson, 17-year-old TikTok star.
Yep. So I don't know if you know or not, but I have the full. I don't know what I want you to tell me what this article says, but I fully infiltrated it. We have Young and Reckless all over it.
Nice.
And little Charlie, who's like the biggest TikToker in the world, is covered in Young and Reckless. And I had a long conversation about the house and what's going on and how to try to get involved.
I think the article really, all it does is just explain that there's these houses that are existing. They existed during the Vine period. They existed during the YouTube period. Now there's a house that's called the Hype House. There's other houses that are being kind of happening as well, where these kids are living together. And in this case, they said Hype House would put out, as a collective of, 8 to 10 people, 100 videos a day. There isn't any economic arrangement of the house other than they all just live together. But in previous eras, those houses were like, it was a collective. Like, I think Jake Paul and
Yeah,
Logan
the Team
Paul.
10 house.
Team 10 house was like, they had it was like a pyramid, right? Like everyone ate off of everyone.
So Jake was at the top, and you had to pay 20% in of whatever you made to be part of the house. And you'd lock into 5-year or even longer contracts just to live in the house. That's what the Hype House is doing now. I know some TikTokers who are being recruited to the Hype House. You have to sign with the management team who owns the Hype House and give up a percent of your earnings to grow everything together.
You should maybe do that drama.
Well, join the Hype House?
Yeah, I mean,
just move into a
what'd you give up?
TikTok
20,
house?
25%
I think I might
to
be
get a
too
10
old.
million followers.
I think it'd be kind of,
Yeah, just be like, oh, hey, Charlie, what are you, 14?
yeah, all of a sudden.
These
now,
houses are disgusting too. I've been to a lot of them. It's like literally 7 air mattresses in one room.
Yeah,
or
they
bunk
have
beds.
no money.
None of them have
They're
any money.
broke.
And they're like 16-year-olds that don't know how to live. So just like pizza boxes everywhere and just like gross houses that have nothing. It's just weird, gross houses.
Yeah.
And they're all
it
in
just-
Simi Valley and like way out there.
I remember hanging out my friend managed a bunch of YouTubers. I think they were like 18 at the time, and they had a house in the hills on the valley side, and I was like mortified at how like disgusting they lived.
Yeah.
You know, just literally pizza everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all they do.
Domino's should sponsor these houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not only is it disgusting, they're really strict. Like people are in charge of it. You have to put out X amount of videos a day. At least with Jake, like he had all these rules, and a lot of these houses have that where like you have to be awake by 8 a.m. no matter what. You can't drink alcohol. There's certain who you can
Yeah,
invite
you can't
over.
even bring people over.
You can't. You have to like
hook
get
up
permission
people.
to bring people over.
Yeah.
And there's like, and you have to put out like, I think in the TikTok house you should put out like 10 videos a day, TikToks a day.
So it's
Just
like
keep
boarding
cranking.
school.
It's like
No, it sounds
it's
like
a
child slavery.
Yeah, child slavery.
But when the
they're all
owner's a
growing.
child too, this is what I don't get is who's leasing this 19-year-old a house?
17.
Who's leasing this 17-year-old a house?
So with Jake and what he would do, they had money. But at the time, I think this could be this guy, Michael Gruen, who's like this TikTok manager, this 17-year-old who I've run into a couple times. Super funny dude.
He's 17.
Like he was 18. He's this young guy, super interesting guy who's trying to be the Scooter Braun of the TikTok managers. And he's managing all these little TikTokers.
And he's
got a lot of them.
17?
I think he's 17 or 18. He's young. He's young. You could tell.
Yeah. And he's the big.
This reminds
He's
me
the big shot
of,
agent.
He's the
Uh,
Irving
TikTokers.
Azoff.
No,
Yeah,
this
exactly.
reminds me of Perlman, who had created every boy band.
Yeah, but he was
But
also.
And then he
Perlman
went to
get a little
jail.
creepy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was stealing money from
Stealing
everybody.
money, molesting the kids, and then went to jail.
Oh my God! I just gotta say, if you're a TikTok mom or dad, be careful.
Yeah.
Because this is prime real estate.
And we have a story at the end that's
Yeah.
going to.
Yeah.
I'm just
be
saying, if you're a
scary.
pedophile, your eyes are on TikTok.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, so all I gotta do is get a house in Simi Valley?
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is
interesting.
those that don't live in LA, Simi Valley is a deep suburb of LA,
Where-
which is pretty inexpensive.
Where there's a lot of secrets.
Yeah, for like $8
Southern
grand a month.
California, I think it's Ventura County, right?
What?
It's not Los Angeles County. I think Simi Valley is Ventura County.
Okay, so
Probably,
and it's inexpensive to get a big mansion. So you can look like Roddy
you could just
Roddy
have a
Rich for
house
like
full
$7
of-
grand a month.
Yeah. Okay, well, be
Seven's
careful.
probably high.
Yeah, 7's probably high.
Yeah.
Be careful, guys.
Yeah.
Watch your kids.
Yeah. If you have kids or TikTok stars.
That's like the new, like, instead of like, you have to warn them about taking candy from strangers, you have to warn them about taking mansions in Simi Valley from strangers.
Yes. I just think that like, and there's a story at the end that's really, really scary about this whole world.
Yep.
That I think parents should not get caught up in this because there's,
I think maybe we should just jump to it.
yeah, it's just too big.
We'll save the other one for
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Okay.
Jump into it.
So I get an article sent in my real life group chat and says, "This is sick. You need to read this." And
Sick in a bad way.
Like sick?
yeah, it's like
yo,
sick
this
in the
is
head.
sick.
Sick in the head. And it's written by this woman, never heard of her, Tiffany, I think Fitzpatrick Henry. She's an independent writer, reporter. She does this extremely long article about this manager in Hollywood that recruited and met this young boy and her mom in Dallas, Texas, and ended up managing him and a boy band and their life in LA.
Mm-hmm.
This young kid's name is Ricky Garcia. This happened in the last 5 years, which is really scary. Even up to 2 years ago, it was still happening. He gets moved to LA. The mom ends up moving to LA too. They like don't have money. They mortgage their whole like kind of life to bring their kid to become a star. This kid ends up being managed by this guy named Joby that says, I'm going to introduce you to everybody. Just follow me. You're going to be successful. He ends up becoming pretty much a child sex slave to executives all around Hollywood. Major companies are involved in this. So this kid had a television show on Disney. He was signed to Hollywood Records. There were parties where liquor was served when he was 13, 14 years old, where the mom questioned it, and they're like, it's Hollywood, don't worry about it. There were CA executives involved. There are a lot of names in this article. We will share the article and post it. And it looks as though this kid was involved. I mean, there's like women who were also sexually abusing him, men that were sexually abusing him. This kid went through fucking hell in the hopes that he would become a star. Finally, a year ago, confesses to his mom what was going on. The mom doesn't feel comfortable telling to any big media company, because even when apparently a complaint was made to Disney just kind of covered it up and said, hey, HR is dealing with it. They never dealt with it. No one got fired. So she goes to this independent reporter. The independent reporter does all her research, emails, text messages, releases this whole story. She's just an independent woman that's trying to get exposure for this article now. It has caught a lot of steam. It's just that unless the powers that be, which are the most powerful media conglomerates in the world, allow this thing to flare up. I mean, it is blaming executives from Disney, Hollywood Records, CAA for allowing for this particular child, and saying that there's like this weird child sex ring happening in Hollywood that people aren't aware of. It is fucking nuts. It makes Jeffrey Epstein look kind of normal.
Oh, man. So you're telling me right now, still in Hollywood,
Yeah.
these execs and super successful people are just passing around young kids.
Yes.
At least that's what they're. I mean, here's the thing. So this article comes out
Fresh out of Yellowstone. Here comes to the defense.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
guys,
the rich,
guys,
the elite.
calm down.
No,
Let me
no one
just
would
say.
fuck a 12-year-old boy.
Come on.
What are you talking about?
There's kids running around Yellowstone somewhere that you didn't
It's all
see.
families.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sure
Lots
it
of
is.
kids.
Yeah, where
A
are those
couple of
kids
them were
from?
adopted.
No, but at what point do we just take articles like this for face value and just assume everyone's a pedophile? Because that, if you read this article,
Yeah.
you literally assume it's so rampant in Hollywood among CAA, every talent agency, studio, Disney, like all the brand names we know, that there's just rampant pedophilia going on.
I believe it.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it seems. I mean, let me just say this. When I hear the stories of Jeffrey Epstein, I think I never would have believed that this was possibly true if someone
Yeah, I
told me.
agree. I think Jeffrey Epstein.
So that made me feel like,
Yeah.
gosh, maybe I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
No. I'm sure it goes on, and it's obviously like horrific. It's disgusting what is being kind of shed light to.
Yeah.
But at what point do we just like? Are we just gonna castigate everyone?
I
as,
think
like,
you have to
Yeah.
go after. This is, dude.
But find
think about
out.
it. 12-year-old fucking boys, dude. I don't care. Accuse everyone. I'd rather them being accused and then they're proved innocent later. If this is actually happening, this is fucking nuts.
Yeah,
It's
so I guess the
unacceptable.
point is just: are these isolated incidences from like a handful of executives, or is it rampant in Hollywood culture?
Well, let me just say,
So we've
if
been
this-
around Hollywood culture our entire life,
Yeah.
our entire adult life. I don't hear about a lot
Yeah,
about
but it's just like
pedophilia.
No,
anything
but
else.
you're
It's
not
like-
in that. You're not at 4 a.m. at some weird house.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't, for instance, you don't do heroin. If you
Right.
started doing heroin, you picked up a heroin habit, started going out every night, you would find yourself in some weird after parties and have weird new friends.
Yeah.
Not like the friends at Yellowstone.
Yeah.
If you started getting an appetite for little boys, the same thing would happen. And I do think that there are these underworlds that exist that, like, we just don't see because
So I guess the point is: it just a function of power, or is it unique to Hollywood?
No,
Meaning,
I
It's
don't
not
think it's
unique to
Hollywood.
It's not.
right?
It's
No,
not
meaning
unique
like
to Hollywood.
it's a function of
Epstein was
people
like
with power.
Jeffrey
zero
Epstein,
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
that was
It's finance.
politics and finance and
And I
it's
don't
power.
Think
Power lets you skirt around laws. That's just a thing.
and I think in this case,
That's
look-
definitely true, and I
So-
agree with that. 100%.
And so people in this industry, when you know there's a group of people. So the thing about Hollywood that's always very challenging is there's always this emerging group every year that's trying to make it. And there's all these powerful people that are the gatekeepers that decide you get to make it or you don't get to make it. As long as that exists, there's going to be this corrupt part of it.
agree with that.
And so in this case, Hollywood's a young town. Like, young people are made stars. There's Bella Thorne has come out and said she's been raped, but because she's not taken seriously, people brushed her off. And she said, like, while I was at Disney, I got harassed, I got raped, I got all these things happen to
She
me.
got raped?
She said she's literally said she's got raped, but because she's like this party girl, everyone just ignores her. And
Yeah.
the problem is maybe she's fucked up because she had a fucked up childhood. You know,
It's
like,
happening right now to like some YouTube girl. Does anyone know that girl, Leah? gosh, I'm a bad journalist here, but there's a YouTube girl where like right now there's like pleas to help her because she went live on her Instagram and there's like some old man like grabbing her and like, Leah, this can't be online. This can't be on Instagram, Leah. Like you can hear him talking. He doesn't know what live is, and she's all wasted and like, and he's like, Leah, turn it off. And then he like grabs her phone and like it's real creepy shit.
I don't think you realize how sick people are, and that's why these types of things they get covered up because it's bad for business. Imagine if all of a sudden all these Disney kids were raped while they were coming up in Disney.
But I will say
it takes down the business mouse.
But it actually doesn't, right? Because
it does.
Think Epstein, you had the biggest politicians, biggest billionaires.
This is the
then
mouse.
You had Penn State University, Sandusky.
You're talking
and
about Penn
NCAA
State
football.
And
that's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
You're talking about football. Do you know what the mouse is?
Yeah,
There's nothing compared to the mouse.
I think Dee's right. I think Dee,
you don't understand how big Penn State football is. A fucking day at Disneyland.
No,
this
but I'm
is
saying
the mouse.
Disney Channel, and they'll be like, "That's not Disney Plus, guys. That's the Disney Channel."
No, if the perception changed that the mouse was safeguarding a freaking pedophile ring for decades.
Do you really think Disney's not equipped to spin this on a PR?
No, I don't think it'll ever happen. But I'm just saying the risk is real.
I don't think the risk is real. I think the disgust is real.
I think the
disgust is real and it's happening. I'm not denying.
Well, you don't think that right now someone at Disney or lots of people are figuring out what to do about this article?
Of course they are.
So
That's
I'm saying
why
the risk is real.
Like I think that it's a multi-hundred-billion-dollar company.
That's my point. What I'm saying is there's a very real risk that this stuff cannot escalate. It cannot whatever because it's
Let me tell
exactly
you something.
the
If you
worst
see
thing.
Bob Iger randomly retire tomorrow,
yeah.
It's a Mark Parker situation.
But if you look at the people implicated, I didn't see Disney executives.
No, they're saying
it was agents and managers.
But the kid
that were like
I didn't read it.
That were shuffling them to people that wanted to partake in this.
Yeah, I didn't read the details, so I don't know.
Which
but
is
the
disgusting.
Point is,
I'm telling you.
But
it's disgusting, and it's. But is it as rampant as this article tries to make it seem, or are these isolated, disgusting people?
So I think in this case,
both,
there is.
If that makes sense.
This is one incident. This kid's name is Ricky Garcia. He's talking about his experience with his manager, his agent, and the people they were around. He just so happened to be signed to Disney, right? He was just a Disney entertainer or whatever it is. Whether Disney execs knew, they didn't, who knows? But my point being is that if this kid, it happened to this kid, I'm sure it happened to other kids.
I agree,
and
but let's just look at what's happened with Harvey Weinstein. Like, yeah, he's going to go to jail and he's gonna have to pay a lot of money. But what really happened within Hollywood culture?
No, but here's the thing: is
what changed? You mean?
Yeah,
I guarantee you today on a set in Hollywood, it is much different than it was 5 years ago.
Fine, but my point is, no one like the structure never got taken down.
No,
so the fact that you think
will.
you can take the mouse down is insane.
No, you can't actually take the mouse down. No. But the threat to take the mouse down, which is very real, will change behavior. I don't think Hollywood wasn't restructured by Harvey Weinstein, and it's ridiculous to think that it ever would have been. But things did change, I think. Yeah. And I think that's it. And it changed because of the threat that all of these major studios and everyone could go down. So it'll never actually happen. Disney's not going to go out of business, but the threat will change behavior. And to answer your question, I don't think it's so rampant that in every big office, every successful person is trying to hook up with little boys. But I do think it's much more common than we know. And I think the same way that in the drug world, there's just an underworld. There's just people that know people and you know who to call for the thing. I think that exists much more than we see in our rosy little bubble.
Yeah,
driving around
I would
the
have
same
never
streets.
fathomed, like you said, I would never fathom Jeffrey Epstein and what happened. I would never think these rich, powerful people, this is what they want to do. And then when I read this...
I think the underage stuff is definitely shocking.
Yeah.
But everything else, when you hear about billionaires with unlimited power, they're going to get...
I'm talking about the pedophilia part.
Yeah, we're only talking about the pedophilia.
I'm talking about pedophilia part of it. That is so fucking disgusting. And then you read about it, and you're like, can't believe it. And then this happened... A lot of the Jeffrey Epstein happened decades ago.
Yeah.
This happened in the last 3-4 years. There was a party at the Roxy 2 years ago where kids were drinking. They were getting this poor kid hammered to then rape him.
No, it's disgusting.
That's nuts. And unless he just made up everything, which...
Yeah.
You know, maybe he made up some of it, but
The
like,
thing that gets me is all the stories of like the Lou Pearlman guy and like the
Yeah.
where like the whole like all the guys from NSYNC and whatever have talked about like
Yeah.
sexual
Lance
abuse
Bass.
and,
Yeah, he said he's been-
and that was like, you know,
and
that's,
he's made it. He's rich. He doesn't have to lie now.
and that's the biggest boy band. The manager of the biggest boy band in
Ever.
the world is doing that.
what do you think the shittiest boy band manager?
Yeah, what do you think an up and coming like? Oh,
Yeah.
that's what you do? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what's the takeaway?
The takeaway is these
Don't
things
put
need
your
to
kids
Disgusting
in-
people exist across all
But
industries.
here's the thing: is
right?
that
Yeah.
this family felt they had to go to this independent reporter to get the story heard because they knew when you're talking about these brands, CAA and Disney and Hollywood, these are so powerful. Gonna go to ABC? No, fuck no.
That's the mouse.
Exactly. Mouse. There's a security guy with 2 years saying, nah, this ain't gonna happen on my watch.
I'll tell you what. Here's the takeaway: if you have a kid, start a YouTube page because there's no gatekeepers.
I mean,
Yeah.
TikTok.
don't
You
send them to
gotta-
one of these houses.
Don't ever send anyone to any house.
TikTok seems a scary place for a young kid.
If you go to one of the houses,
Yes.
if you just blow up and you have your momager and you make your little money,
And you're
it's
at
fine
home?
because there's no gatekeeper, there's no kingmaker because it's all these.
No, but
it's all
then
these,
the little kid gets a message. Hey, meet me here.
hey, it's me, Taylor.
Hey, it's me, Taylor. Meet me at LAX. I'll pick you up and take you to a discreet
Yeah, yeah,
hotel.
Like, let me tell
for
you,
sure.
like, no one's bothering Ryan.
No.
He's too rich.
No,
No,
Ryan's
they
got a
figured it
family.
out.
It seems now that I've
Ryan's
seen
gonna-
more of the videos, there's a whole team around Ryan.
Yeah.
It's a family.
But Ryan calls the shots. No one's
Yeah.
playing with Ryan.
It's the family dynamic that makes Ryan as much as Ryan makes.
Of course.
The Ryan.
It's a dad. Everyone's in
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just
Ryan's
be careful.
bulletproof is really what it comes down to.
Well, that's what I'm saying is so cool is all of these kids, I mean, all jokes aside, there's this new generation of young people making a lot of money that don't need gatekeepers.
Yeah.
You know, even Jake and Logan Paul and Amanda
Yeah,
Sterling, all
it's
that
a
stuff
great
we
point.
talk about.
Yeah.
There was never a manager that knighted Logan Paul, right? He
just made
that.
it.
He called all the shots. And I think there's a huge new lane for those type of stars. And you don't
That's
have
how-
to go play these silly games. Because even like, obviously, pedophilia is so extreme, but I'm sure like the range of just shit
Bullshit.
that these kids had to do to
Yeah.
like try to make it. Even like Camila Cabello, who's a current star, has complained very openly about like the crazy treatment that Fifth Harmony had and like whatever. The point is now there's at least a road to not have to deal with that.
And
you
so
have your
to,
own
to
shot.
my point earlier is that I think we're probably in a time where it's probably as limited as it's been relative to previous eras because of what you just said.
Yeah.
Meaning
For
there
sure.
not the reliance on gatekeepers to make it. Jake and Logan Paul and all these other big influencers made it without some pervy pedophilia
Yeah.
manager saying, I'm the one that's going to make you the star.
It's bad news for the pedophiles. They
Yes.
probably hate YouTube.
Probably love TikTok.
Just saying, they're like, oh, they're on these houses. I'm telling you, there's a lot of leases opening up in Simi Valley, and be careful because they have a
Chatsworth.
lot of pizza.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all we got.
We
That
got
was-
Golden Globes.
Oh yeah, Golden Globes.
And we got our new
Jesus.
segment too.
Yeah, and our new
Yeah.
segment,
So
but
Golden Globes out just finished in LA.
you got any big results? Can we get any?
You guys are going to be disappointed because I've never even heard of the two movies that won.
Parasite.
No, 1917 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Well, Once Upon a Time.
One time,
Hollywood's good. You
everyone's
never
heard
heard
of
of
that.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I mean, I heard of it. I don't know who's in it. Who's in it? Name two people in it.
Leo DiCaprio
Okay.
and Brad Pitt.
Yeah, have you heard of those two guys?
You ever heard of those?
Okay, I
two
know
fellas?
those two. I don't know any. And then 1917.
It's a Quentin Tarantino huge movie.
Okay,
You're
I don't
just-
like Quentin Tarantino. He's not my style of guy.
Got it.
Too serious.
1917, no one's heard of.
Well,
I've heard
I wouldn't
of.
say that. It's just brand new.
Okay.
All the billboards are still up for it.
My man Rami won.
Wow.
No Parasite? Where's Parasite?
It seems like it was the Crickets. The best part about the
Joker?
Golden
Where's
Globes so
Joker?
far was the only thing I've watched. I saw the monologue
Yeah.
with Ricky Gervais.
You watched it on the way in?
I watched it on Twitter on the way in.
Oh,
Crushed it.
he crushed it.
Crushed it. He attacks all of Hollywood.
Nice.
He says, the couple funny things, just to quote him, were on my limo ride here. My license plate was made by Felicity Huffman. He said, when you get up on stage, most of you don't even have the education of Greta Thunberg.
Okay.
Thank your agent, thank whatever God, and get the fuck out of here. which was amazing.
Yeah.
And
No, his point was you're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg.
And
got
then,
it.
and
That's
then
the purpose of it.
he says, makes a Jeffrey Epstein jab and says, I'm sorry, I know most of you are still friends with him. Or were friends with him.
Wow.
He made a joke about Leonardo DiCaprio and said that when he saw Irishman, after the end of the movie, he dumped his girlfriend because she was too old. Because the movie was 3.5 hours. Do you get the joke?
Got it. Got it.
Dee's no Ricky Gervais.
Yeah. I know,
I'm just going off the top of my head.
Just the
off
way
the
you
one
said
clip
it.
I said.
After the end of the movie, jumped his girlfriend.
Parasite won Best Foreign Language Motion Picture. Succession won
Best foreign language.
Best
Who
Television
cares?
Drama.
We'll take that. Succession won?
Best Television Drama.
Okay.
Let's see.
1917. I haven't even heard of this movie.
Yeah. I'm sure that we might be really wrong here. A lot of people might have watched it, but
Maybe I've never.
We're
heard
too
of
fresh. Meaning,
Yeah.
like, it just happened. We're, like, trying to find on Twitter what's
yeah.
going on.
Okay. Well, listen, nobody watched it anyway, so we could still recap it on Wednesday if we wanted.
it. But I think the Ricky Gervais monologue, we should post it. It's really, really funny.
Okay.
It's really good.
Okay, time for our segment. We have a brand new segment.
Okay.
So like I said, one of our goals moving into the new year was to add some new segments. People really like winners, losers content. Trying to think of more versions of that. Really, I think Pete's an Idiot is catching on big time.
Yeah.
We have one that we've been meaning to do but haven't got around to. It is called Millennial Word Monday, Taylor.
Millennial Word Monday, where I asked you guys a millennial word or phrase, and we see if you could answer it and define what it means.
Oh Jesus.
Okay,
No
so we all
chance.
three get a shot at the same
You all
thing?
get a shot. Whoever gets it first wins, obviously.
Okay.
Even if you don't know, you have to guess something, which makes it fun. So even if you guys have absolutely no idea, you have got to come up with something.
Okay, so is it like a whoever says it first deal or
If you
down
know
the
the
line?
answer, say it first.
Okay.
If not, we'll go in order.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel like I'm the closest here to the youth.
We don't talk about that in my circles.
Yeah. Listen. So I probably have the best shot. So
We would hope so.
hit
So,
us.
This first one for Millennial Word Monday is an acronym. It's 3 letters. FOH. What does FOH mean?
Fuck out
outta
of
here.
here.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
You guys both caught it quickly. Anand, did you know what that was? Or you didn't know?
We don't use that type of language.
We don't do that at Yellowstone Club.
Yeah.
Okay, so me and Dee
So
are the
good.
young ones.
You and D win this time. I'll get them a
Okay.
little harder next time. I didn't know you guys were so millennial.
I'm a big FOH guy.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, that was good. Okay, well
That's
there it
amazing.
is. There's segment number 1. That'll be every Monday.
Every Monday, as long as I show up on Sunday, she'll get it every Monday.
I hope to lose everyone. It make me feel good.
Fuck out of here. Okay, guys, make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, group-chat.com, for a full rundown of the Hype House, the TikTok, the houses, and like I said, if you're a TikTok momager, be cautious.
Beware.
Hit us up on Instagram at GroupChatPod. Leave us a review if you really like us on iTunes or the podcast app on your phone. And welcome to the new year. I'm excited that this is the highest listened episode of the history of Group Chat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So congratulations us, and we'll be back on Wednesday.
Can we touch on the topic real quick about people being mad about actually listening through and then not saying anything about the sweatshirts?
Oh yeah.
People are
So
mad.
What happened?
you know how we
What'd we
said,
do?
at the 80th minute, if you said we're still listening, I said DM me, I'll send
Oh,
you
yeah,
something.
you messed up. Yeah.
So I actually sent everyone who DM'd an autographed picture of myself.
Wow.
And the holiday sweatshirt.
And they were pissed because they didn't want the picture?
No, everyone's gonna love the picture. They're probably getting it starting Monday.
Oh, you're saying
Tuesday.
because we never addressed.
No,
No.
because people are like, I listened through but thought he was kidding.
They
and
thought
then
we were
are
joking,
mad
and
that
like, I don't know
yeah,
how many.
Screw you.
And then all these people who actually DM me are getting free shit.
Yeah.
And
they're
they're
like, hey,
excited.
can you put me on the list? Like, throw me on there. And I'm like,
Hell
look.
no.
And then someone's like, Pete's an asshole. I DM'd the group chat pod. I was like, yeah, he's an
It
asshole.
could be true, but whatever. Hey, you got to count on Pete. We do it every day.
Yeah.
Try to.
You got to hope for the best. Okay. Well, there it is. Guys, thank you so much. We got another long one. We'll see you on Wednesday.